You know, I really love the so-called experts. Coffee Comics, who is a quote-unquote manga artist, and I actually say that very loosely, is from Africa. And he has a reputation, apparently, of going after people, insulting people, so on and so forth. And just recently, he waged an attack against a couple different quote unquote manga creators. One guy who I don't know at all on Instagram, and then one guy I do know fairly well, in that being Tyler Carpenter of Draw and Talk. I went ahead and made a response video to him, and then he made a response video back. Normally, I would just let this go, right? But the fact of the matter is that the stuff that he says keeps getting more ludicrous with each video that sort of passes on the subject. And I felt it important to once again go ahead and address this, considering it is causing a little bit of a stir. I'm getting messages and DMs on my Instagram and Twitter. Lots of comments are floating around on YouTube. On his channel, it's pro coffee. On my channel, it's pro Nyobi. And he's got a 31 minute response. Now, this is a long video. We are going to watch it. I'm probably going to speed it up at parts. I'm probably going to not try and pause it as much as I did last time, just so we can get this done and out of the way. But I can't promise anything. By the way, if you're new to the channel, my name is LP. I am the writer and creator of the comic book series Nyobi. It's not a manga. It is an American style comic, much done in the 90 version sort of way. You know, and I bring this up because he talks a lot about cheesecake stories and cheesecake covers, which we do have cheesecake covers. We don't necessarily have cheesecake stories, but you would have to read Nyobi to find out. And I'm guessing he's never read or seen my work in his life, and he should go ahead and do a Google search on me and find out. In the meantime, why don't we go ahead and play his response to me, and we'll go from there. You know, we'll cover the bases. Here we go.
All right, so this is a response video to Nyobicomics, however you pronounce that. So I can't believe somebody was so butthurt about the video I made. Not really about Tyler or Jamal, but it was just to show an example, to show that if we're going to pursue manga and call ourselves manga artists, we need to assess what certain standard are we pursuing.
And there's my first pause. I wasn't butthurt at all. It's not like, oh my God, what did this guy say? No, it's just it was so stupid that it was worthy of comment. It was so stupid that it was worthy of becoming content for my channel. Let's continue.
I was saying, guys, if you say you're a manga artist, take your favorite book and put it next to yours and see if you are almost at the level of that favorite artist of yours. That's it.
If you're new to manga and you want to be in manga, you got to be as good as the pros. You got to compare yourself to Leonardo da Vinci. And if you're not on Leonardo's level, then go fuck yourself and get out of the game. That's what he's saying. Not true. Wrong.
That's it. You see Naruto on the shelf, you see Black Clover on the shelf, you see Fairy Tail on the shelf. Take your stuff, see if it's up to standard with those creators. Plain and simple. And yet, this guy decides to attack me, saying Coffee Comics, the world's leading expert in comics and manga, attacked a beloved creator with claims that his manga work is not professional enough and should follow standards that Coffee Comics feels should be forced upon all, without telling us what these standards actually are.
Absolutely true, and that's absolutely what you did. You still haven't laid out the standards. Your standard is it as good as what is next to the book, like when you compare these books? I want to know more about your standards. Give me how many pages it should be, how the panels should look, how the characters should look, what style of manga it should be. Like I really want you to lay down, give us the Bible, right, of African manga standards. You know, please, we would, inquiry minds, sir, want to know.
This just shows that I'm really shocked that there are a lot of people who truly let emotions get the best of them. Grown men. This is a grown man, right? And you purposely ignore the standards that I spoke about in the beginning of.
No. In fact, this will be the third time now I'm asking you to lay out the standards. I want a list. Give me a list of 10 things that should be in these standards. And I am a grown man, and I'm not upset or emotionally damaged by any of this. To me, you're entertaining. To me, you're funny. To me, you're content worthy. To me, by bringing out these flaws that you are stating, by the way you're trying to guide would-be young creators is wrong. And as I told you in the YouTube comments that we do police ourselves around here. Many do consider myself to be a leader in the indie comic book industry. I don't consider myself to be that, but other people do, and my voice does happen to carry a lot of weight. So I'm going to give you a pill to swallow, and swallow it you will.
The video, take your stuff, put it next to your favorite artist. If you claim that you want to be the next fairy tale, take your book, put it next to a fairy tale book. See if it's up to standard. See if the techniques, such as the paneling, the actual manga aesthetic of the character designs, are on the same level. If not, keep working on it. It's that simple. Honestly, it is very, very puzzling as to how is it that the American manga artist, or should I say the Western manga artist, is so afraid to go beyond the bare minimum. Because that's what it is here. And another thing, Nyobicomics, you said you typed a comment that I removed, right? And I said I didn't remove anything, right? And so I decided to type on your video over here about you should have been a man the way Tyler was a man who was brave enough to hunt me down.
It's not my job to hunt you down. It's your job to hunt me down. If you don't like what I got to say about you, you can go ahead and hunt me down if you got something to say about it. In fact, you can hunt me down tonight. Guys, we will be live a little later on tonight, a couple hours from when you see this video first posted. Usually it's around 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern time. Coffee Comics is more than welcome to come in and watch. Coffee Comics is even more than welcome to come in and debate me. He just has to understand that my show is an ensemble show. I will not be alone. The people that with me feel the same way. But if he wants to come and face the tribunal, he's more than welcome to do so. It won't be a great experience for him. Ask anyone who's come through the doors looking to fight. Doesn't really work out that well for him. Because I actually happen to know what I'm talking about, where he doesn't, okay? He has these imaginary standards that he has set for himself that is actually holding him back. And I have no problems explaining that to him if and when I get the chance. Let's continue.
Find me on Instagram, send me a message, and ask me why am I attacking him. Enough so to actually have a phone call with me. So Tyler didn't need your little fangirl assistance. He was man enough to hunt me down. And you out here were not. You were not, bro.
Did you hunt Tyler down when you made, or Jamal down when you did your videos on them? Or were you like a little bitch hiding behind your screen and keyboard saying how bad they suck and making fun of their appearances? You're a hypocrite, bud.
Bro, here with your Powerpuff Girl little icon. I mean, come on, bro.
What's wrong with my icon? He's all, you know, the Powerpuff Girls are more manly than you are, right? You know, Bubbles, you know, kind of kicks more ass than you ever will, right? I think it's fucking hilarious. There's a Powerpuff Me website where you can go and make your own Powerpuff avatar. They're absolutely great. Like, we made one for our entire little group. They're all hilarious, man. Hilarious. Get the joke? Let's continue.
Do you really want me to? Nah. Let me not even go there. But ultimately, you removed my comment here. I said if you were man enough, as Tyler was man enough to hunt me down and actually give me a phone call, you would have spoken to me, but you didn't. Instead, you decided to make this long video, wasting everybody's time, and you removed the comment.
All right, so let's talk about removing comments. I did accuse him of removing my comment, and now he's accusing me of removing his comment. I tend to believe him now that he never removed my comment, because I don't think YouTube ever presented him my comment, just like it never presented me his comment. I haven't removed a damn thing, you know. And he's going to bring up that I blocked him on Instagram, which I never done either, right? I think that the algorithm is smart enough to go, hey, this sounds like it's an attack, or you know, this is offensive. I believe the algorithm will put those comments into a hidden archive. You can access those. You can actually approve and review comments, which is my YouTube is actually set to do that. So if someone does come in and just, you know, rant and raving like a lunatic, chances are their comment is actually going to get relegated to a different box, right? Which is subject to my review. And then I go in and review them and approve them. I have yet to look at this box today. So I have not removed you. I have not blocked you. You know, and I believe that you didn't do it to me. I believe that is a YouTube thing. And, you know, we can just move on from that.
And then you block me on Instagram. It's actually outrageous. It's actually really, really outrageous. So
truly outrageous. It's like a gem in the holograms video. Truly, truly outrageous.
Guys, this is what I'm talking about when you have lived a very long, well, not a long life, but you've lived some time pursuing a subpar standard, a standard of your own making. When I was on the call with Tyler, which all of you will hear that call because he's going to post that call on Monday on his channel, I said, bro, I thought that the standard you were pursuing was the Japanese standard. And
Tyler can't pursue the Japanese standard any more than you can. Why? It's really simple, and I'll lay it down for both of you guys. You're not Japanese. It's a whole different culture. It's a whole different way of life, and it's a whole different work attitude. He's going to talk about how these guys work themselves until they're sick, and they do. That's just life, right? You don't need to do that to be successful. You don't need to grind yourself into oblivion to be successful and to be good at your craft. This guy seems to think that you do. And if he wants to work himself down to the bone and still not receive the accolades that he thinks he deserves, he's more than welcome to do so, but he's fucking stupid to do so as well.
And he said, no, this is my standard. I don't care about that other standard. And I said, oh, okay, I didn't know that. I thought all of us were supposed to be pursuing the Japanese aesthetic.
And why would you make that assumption? You know what they say about people who assume? And I want you to spell this out with me. Assume, A-S-S-U-M-E. You make an ass out of you and me when you make assumptions without knowing anything. And that's all you did, Buzz. You made an assumption that everyone thinks like you do, and everyone needs to be like you, and everyone should be chasing this aesthetic. It's wrong, man. It's wrong, Kyle. It's wrong. And there's the first buzzer of the day.
To its full glory as much as we can. I didn't know that there are honestly people who just wanted to draw whatever and call it manga. I didn't know, right? They want to create their own manga version, their own Western standard of manga. Okay. But here at Coffee...
Dude, that's been going on for decades. Look, if you didn't know, let me give you a quick education, right? Ben Dunn, founder of Antarctic Press, has been doing America Manga comics for over 30 years. He is actually the guy that publishes both Tyler and I. So I don't want to hear about how you don't know about these things. If you're that sheltered that you're not out checking these things out, because, you know, it is 2023, my guy. We got the interweb here, right? You should be aware of these things. And if you're not, stop making dumb assumptions until you are.
Comics, we're saying that if you're drawing manga, dude, it's gotta look like it. It's gotta look like what's on the shelf. You want people who consume Viz Media products, right? Viz Media publishing the Narutos and the My Heroes Academias. You want your book to be bought by those who buy the main books at Viz Media. You want those consumers to buy your stuff, then you're gonna have to follow the principles of those who create the products of that stuff from Viz Media. But in the West, there seems to be a reluctancy to do that. Why? Because you can get away with your own personal standards.
And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with setting your own personal list of standards and things that you want to achieve? The problem is that doesn't meet his standards, right? His imaginary standards that he has set upon himself that he treats as the rule of law. It's not the rule of law, okay? The rule of law is everyone who creates their own IP can do it however they like, set whatever standards they wish. If they want to work to the bone and do it, that's their prerogative. If they just want to do it as a hobby, that's their prerogative. It's not up for you to judge and say what other people honestly should be doing.
And guess what? That's fine, but I was bringing the awareness that don't call yourself a manga artist that of, well, not exactly of the level of a, let's say, popular manga artist from Japan, such as Kentaro or Hiro Mashima, but ultimately, don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Don't call your manga a manga when it's clearly not, bro. My standard, I'm saying, if you're gonna call your stuff a manga, it's got to look like it. I showed you mine, that mine doesn't look like a kid's coloring book, right? It actually looks like a manga. It has the...
No, it doesn't. In fact, I went and had a look at your quote-unquote drawings. Your drawings look on par like Tyler's do. You got this really weird pointy hair that looks like it could stab people. It looks very scratchy. It looks, to be honest, you don't look like anything that I see on the shelf for manga, okay? What I see on the shelf for manga is very cute, very bubbly, nice big eyes, that anime aesthetic. You don't bring that at all. Like, in fact, your and Tyler's work, quite honestly, are fairly comparable. So I wouldn't be throwing rocks at a glass house, bud.
Japanese character design, manga aesthetic. That's the entry level, right? I mentioned in that phone call that there's a trinity in manga, right? A trinity of standards. And so you get the character design aesthetic, you get the formula, which is an unexplainable, but visually, well, you can tell visually, but you just can't explain it. It's a technique you can only learn when you're inside Japan. So it's the visual aesthetic, the formula, and the paneling, right? The bare minimum to call yourself a manga artist or to call your work a manga is to have the Japanese manga character design aesthetic.
I'm going to say something very controversial, and probably both you and Tyler are going to hate me for this, but that's all right. In my opinion, and like I said, opinions are like assholes. We all have one. But in my humble opinion, I don't think, unless if you're Japanese, that you should call yourself a manga artist. I think you should just call yourself an artist who was influenced by manga.
That's it. That's the bare minimum. But here in the West, it seems like, no, you can do whatever you want and get away with it because, oh, well, it's my thing, boo-hoo. And that's fine.
Absolutely correct, by the way.
Fine, right? So, Nyobicomics, you didn't understand, and you didn't want to understand, and that's why you removed my comment. And I'll say this. I'm shocked that a lot of you honestly think that I'm jealous. By now, you should realize that I probably shot myself in the foot by making all this content. By now, you should realize that I'm pretty much screwed. My chances of being published in mainstream are over because of this, because some weirdo probably sent an email saying, this guy, Coffee Comics, make sure you gatekeep him.
Okay, no one's done that to you, at least to my knowledge. And you shouldn't be striving for mainstream success anyway. The mainstream essentially is over at this point, bud. The future is creator owned. You should be making your books and putting them up on Kickstarter and every other crowdfunding site that you can. You should be opening up your own web store. You should have a Gumroad. You should be pimping them on eBay. You should be on Amazon, okay? All these different platforms. Maybe even, maybe something like a Whatnot, which I just started doing. Check out, guys, by the way, my Whatnot streams every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. But, I mean, if you're just hoping, if your whole reason for creating your quote-unquote manga is that Viz Media fucking picks you up, I'm sorry, son, you're in for a long wait because your quality isn't up to Viz Media standards, nowhere even close.
So why am I doing it? Haven't I said that the point of me doing all of this is not about money or personal glory? It's for inspiration. I'm here to inspire you guys to be brave enough to resist the poor standards, to resist the demoralization happening in the West. You guys in the West think you are of a good standard, but you're becoming Africa. You are slowly becoming Africa. There are no standards here.
Wow, nothing like to disparage an entire country or continent. I'll tell you something. Having worked with people from Nigeria here in Canada, and I'm in Canada, I'm not in the U.S. by the way, but there's lots of immigrants that come over here from Africa. A lot of them from Congo, Morocco, Nigeria, regions like that. They come here and they work in our call centers. They go to our universities. A lot of them are French speaking. We have French speaking universities here. They would definitely be insulted by what you just said, 100%. You shouldn't be shitting on your own country like that. You shouldn't be shitting on your own culture like that. In fact, you should be trying to do what you can to make it better.
And so I speak greatly about the importance of standards. Japan still follows those standards. They sacrifice themselves, dying on the table to achieve that next level standard. And here you are saying you're working hard, but you're not willing to get sick to go beyond?
Yeah, that's correct. that is exactly correct. I am not going to put my health in jeopardy to make a fucking comic book, dude, right? We're not insane. The Japanese are insane. Look, the Japanese would ram fucking their airplanes into battleships during the Pearl Harbor event, kamikaze. That's how insane they are. No sane man goes and does that, you know. I mean, they did it because they only had enough fuel for a one-way trip, but they all made that trip knowing that that was the case. That is a level of insanity that, yeah, you're right, I'm not going to touch.
If the Japanese get sick to go beyond, and you say, nah, I don't really want to get sick to go beyond, then it's clearly you're not as dedicated. Plain and simple.
Clearly, I'm smarter than they are. Clearly, I understand the importance of having a health, good health, to carry on what I'm doing, as opposed to dying, as you would put it, on the table. That is just dumb. Anyone that follows that advice, you are dumb.
Because they achieve their level because they put everything on the table. You don't want to put much on the table. You want to put just a little bit. And then you want to get compliments for the bare minimum that you put there. And that is very demoralizing and sad. That's princess syndrome, bro. Y'all just want to get those compliments. You want to get those compliments. You want to feel like a celebrity. There is no real glory and there's no legacy that you can leave behind by creating work that is of your personal standard. There has to be an objective standard, not a...
Let's talk about legacy in this business. Having followed the business of comic books ever since I was a child, I can talk about legacy. I work with people that have a legacy in this business. I work with people that have worked underneath Rob Liefeld, directly for Image Comics. Okay, we've talked to all the greats. We've worked with the greats. You don't get to sit here and lecture me on fucking legacy. In fact, I'm building my own legacy. At this point now, we've been in comic book shops through Diamond Magazine 6 different times. We're starting to make a legacy. We're with a well-known publisher that's been around for 40 years. A guy, by the way, who knows a lot more about American manga style than you ever will, And we talk with him on our shows frequently. You should be watching. You can learn something. You sound like you could be a smart guy, but you come off with a lot of dumb assumptions. Learn to listen.
Subjective standard. And all of you in the West have succumbed to this subjective standard in which you can tell yourself, oh, I'm just going to draw 2 pages this week and it means I worked hard. You didn't work hard for nothing. Ichiro Oda, as old as he is, he's still dishing out chapters every week. Yeah, he takes breaks here and there, right? And all of you can say, well, One Piece is cartoony. It doesn't look like a manga. That tells me you don't understand the formula. You don't understand the formula. It looks like you guys haven't actually studied the craft. You are just consumers. That's the problem with a consumer. A consumer nearly has no right to talk about what I'm talking about.
Sure they do. I mean, we're not consumers, but we're creators. But in the realm of being just a consumer, they're the ones that are buying your product. They have the utmost right to criticize what they're spending their hard-earned money on. 100% they do. You were wrong in that statement, and I will battle you to the death over that one. Customer is right.
Because I am a producer, not just a consumer. I am a producer of manga. I need to study these things. And so when I realized there's a trinity to actually achieving the pure Japanese manga aesthetic, it's because I want to achieve it. And thus far, I have achieved only the manga character design aesthetic. The paneling, I'm getting there, but the formula is impossible as a person outside of Japan. These are things only I have mentioned. Where are other people mentioning this? Oh, right, you don't care because you're getting enough compliments, right? Pouring your heart out and working hard to produce, well, something of your personal standard. Satisfying yourself. When you satisfy yourself, you can't inspire anybody. You're just a glutton, a greedy, selfish individual. But the Japanese, they want to feed the people's souls. You can't feed anyone's soul if it's just about you having fun. Fun is not consistency, bro. Fun.
How dare you have any fun doing this? You can't have fun and be successful. Fuck off, dude.
Is not nutritious. Fun is like, I'm gonna have ice cream. But you can't have ice cream every day now, can you? Right? There comes a point where you must commit and say, this is my work, and I'm gonna take it seriously, and I'm going to pursue a standard. You can't be out here just doing your subjective standards. If you want to, so be it. I didn't know that was Tyler's intention, that he has his own standards. That's fine. But what I'm talking about here in Coffee Comics is that there is an objective standard that has been put there by the Japanese, and that's what we have to pursue because we want our books.
No, you don't have to pursue. And you keep saying we, like everyone agrees with you. Like, we want our books to live up to their standards. No. You want your books to live up to the perceived standards that you have implied onto the Japanese, okay? You think you're a student of the game. It sounds like you really don't know anything about the game. Look, go over to Japan. Go hang out at a manga office. If you really want to be a student of the game. Really see what they do. You're making a lot of guesses and a lot of assumptions, and a lot of them are incorrect.
To be sold to the consumers of Japanese content. Because people like Nyobicomics over here, it's clear that you just want to create content or comics for your own personal satisfaction.
And everyone should start there. Okay? If you're not personally satisfied with your work, if you're not personally enjoying your own work, then I don't think, then I think something's lost, right? I think at first you need to please yourself before you can please others. I think, normally we've heard that statement many, many times, okay? Once I am satisfied with what I've been doing, then I think other people will. I mean, there's lots of fans who are just like me, and if I like it, they'll like it. So yes, don't listen to this guy. He's full of shit.
That's okay, but you're not going to reach that particular standard that has inspired millions around the world. You're just not. Now, going back to the jealousy thing, you read the comments here, a lot of people will be like, dude is from Africa. They are notorious for being jealous, projecting their misfortunes and just all around hating. He's absolutely right. And how many times have I said about exactly.
See, I disagree with that statement. I think he's actually kind of wrong. Having met people from Africa, as I stated before, having worked with people from Africa, they're actually very prideful people. They take a lot of pride in their work. They're very family oriented, and they're trying, the ones I met, they're trying to make better lives for themselves and for their children. But I do think you personally are jealous. I think personally you see a guy like Tyler who's doing well and has a fan base, a growing fan base, and you wondering why you don't have that. This is a common thing that we see. My work is better than his, so how come I don't have the same accolades as this guy does, who I consider his work to be subpar to mine? Because you're just not that good and charismatic, bud. Period. End of story.
This, that Africa is totally jacked. People here are envious, right? Envious, covetous, jealous, and they are always hating one another, burning each other's stuff down, never wanting anyone to prosper, right? They don't want to see you develop. I mentioned that here. And so you then decide to say that that's what I'm doing, when the video was not even about Tyler or Jamal, right?
What are you talking about? Have we not watched the same video? Your video was all about Jamal and Tyler. In fact, you went on about 15 to 20 minute rant on Tyler alone, showing his face and showing his work. Fuck off, dude. Seriously, get off the crack, man.
Completely ignoring the point. I have nothing to gain thus far from all the content I've made.
That's not true either, and you know it's not true. What you're trying to gain is clout. What you're trying to gain is recognition. What you're trying to gain is a YouTube presence to further advertise your product, which is what a lot of people do, myself included. But don't tell me, don't piss in the wind and call it rain. Let's put it that way.
I have nothing to gain in terms of subscribers, nothing to gain in terms of finances. I don't even ask people to like, subscribe, or comment. You've never heard me ask anybody.
Then you're dumb. You should always be asking. In fact, go ahead, guys, and subscribe to my channel. Like the video. Hit the bell for notifications right now. Do it right now. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Don't be dumb like this guy. Advertise your channels. Ask people to subscribe. It only serves to help you, not hurt you.
To like, subscribe, or share. Never. Never. So I don't gain anything from this. All the rejects who think I'm jealous, who think I just want to uplift myself, bro, I don't need to uplift myself. You know, I don't want what you guys want. What I want is to inspire people to be.
I so wish I had a Spice Girls gift ready for this. Like, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Well, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Oops.
Man enough to resist the demoralization happening. What I want is people to start thinking about what went wrong in your nation. What went wrong in your nation that has demoralized the entire generation, basically. Why is it that your comics today are not focusing on the issues of this current generation, but instead
Have you read Marvel and DC lately? No? Okay, well, let me inform you that all mainstream comics, for the most part right now, are dealing with current world issues, generally social issues in regards to BML, the LGBTQ, and so on and so forth. Okay, a lot of it is very politically centered, and if you're not paying attention to that, then again, you're just one of these guys who's throwing darts at the wall hoping something's going to stick, and you really don't know what you're talking about.
Are embracing the evils and trash and garbage and degeneracy and nihilism of this generation. What caused this nihilism? This is what I'm trying to do, to make you think, to take you back, Mr. Westerner, to your roots. Because clearly, looks like you forgot where you come from. Huh? Looks like you forgot where you come from. Y'all want to run around.
Oh, no, I know exactly where I came from. I was born in Toronto, Ontario. Know exactly where I come from.
Here and say you're good people. How do you know? Based on what? You're saying you're walking on a straight line, but you got rid of a straight line a long time ago. So how do you know it's not crooked? What are you comparing your moral compass to? You don't know. Is it to yourself? To your subjective mind? Truth, justice, right? And self-sacrifice. These are objective principles. Where do they come from? Where? You don't want to talk about it now, do you? Because
my principles come from, and I think like most other people's principles come from, is our very own life experiences. We decide what moral code we're going to follow based on what we've experienced in life, what we believe to be right and wrong. There is no objective moral compass. Everything is subjective, not objective. You got to learn that.
You're going to get canceled and all of that. I'm not afraid to get canceled. I was canceled the moment I was born here. I made a video about Africa versus Berserk, and that in Berserk it has been determined that gods will be eaten by the demons, and that all who are born in Africa...
Okay, I'm going to speed this up because we still got another 16 minutes of this rambling to go. So what's going to happen is I'm going to fast forward him like a chipmunk so we can get through this a little quicker.
It has been determined that they will suffer and die here. I have accepted my fate. I'm not dead yet, right? I'm not dead yet. So I'm out here screaming, shouting in the wilderness that, hello, Mr. Westerner, wake up. You've been asleep and you cast aside your first love. You cast aside your roots, your foundation. And now, what is your foundation? What is your foundation? Who is it that you honor more now? Because you are such a good person. Who do you exalt? Yourself? Because this is what happens when you exalt yourself. You create your own little standards. And then you want to be so entitled to, well, being called a great artist or feeling like you are special. How? How? Because you keep on changing those standards depending on the times. You are too weak to even resist against the degeneracy and freaks. You kept quiet and allowed the rainbow freaks to grow in numbers, right? You did not resist them whatsoever, and now they've taken over the comic book industry. Now there are gatekeepers everywhere, and all of you make endless videos complaining about it while you do nothing. Everything I say.
So let's talk about that for a second. There has definitely been an influx of left-wing progressive creators that have come into the comic book mainstream. And it is a reason why many people make videos. And it is partially a reason to why people have become disenfranchised with American-style comics and have gravitated to manga, because they are sick of a political agenda, whether it's from the right or left, being rammed down their throats. But that's why we do what we do. We make our own comic books and we set our own rules, which means setting our own standards. And we've done fairly successful in doing so and continue to do successful. We don't need to be part of the mainstream to be able to do comics. We have proven that time and time again. And we'll keep proving it.
Hurts. It hurts. And whoever hurts his listeners will never be able to make profit from his listeners. I don't need your money. I'm screwed. Okay? And I've made peace with it. You've never met anybody like me who can just say what needs to be said without expecting anything back. This is the problem with all of y'all over there who grew up, well, I don't want to say capitalism is bad, but it's not good either, because we know socialism and communism is worse. But ultimately, this is the problem. All of you decided to pursue whatever endeavor based on making a profit. And some of you decided, I want to make the bare minimum and reap as much rewards. Some of you, it's not even the money per se that you want. It is the dopamine. It is the compliments. That's it.
Well, both of those go hand in hand. The more successful you get, the more you are going to be complimented. But, of course, the more successful you get means that success has to come from somewhere, usually by the sales of your book. So the more successful you get, the more money you're making. And, of course, by proxy, the more comments you're going to get. It's not wrong to want to put money in your pocket. It's not wrong to want to put food on the table. It's not wrong to want to make sure there's a roof over your head. And if you can do that by doing what you love, that sounds like a much better plan to me than slaving away for someone for 8 to 10 hours a day and making minimum wage. If I can pull this off, I'm going to pull it off. If I can't, then I'll bite the bullet and I'll go back to work. But to say that this is a losing endeavor and that no one's gonna be able to do this is a crock of shit, and it's one I will fight against.
And while you sit there and nothing changes in your reality, which it could, because ding ding ding, you're in a first world country. I can't change nothing here. I tried, got butchered for it, and it has been determined that I will suffer and rot here. If I embrace the evil of Africa, I'd be under a tree sipping liquor right now or be a drug addict. That's what every other nigga's doing, right? But I'm here resisting the darkness here, shining the light here. And you, who still has some freedoms over there, you, who still has opportunities to go beyond, you, who still is in a nation where they do not look down on you for trying to do better. Here they look down on you for trying to be better. But no one looks down on you there. White Manga escaped the jungles of Nigeria, and he was able to reach a new level in his art because his environment allowed him to do so. His environment encouraged him to do so. My environment does not encourage me, right? I don't talk about my problems, right? But I'll tell you something that happened recently. There's a witch doctor in the house. Yeah, that's right. Witch doctor came in the house, burned some herbs, and all that, did his voodoo. You guys can say, oh, that doesn't have any effect. It does. It does. As somebody who almost got killed by their grandmother through witchcraft, it does have an effect. And what is the effect? The effect, really, it is the robbing of hope. That's what it does, right? There is something unseen in this place, Africa. There's an unseen force that demoralizes anyone who even thinks of going beyond just the little position that they're in. There is a force here. You are allowing this demoralizing force to enter the West and demoralize the youth, accept subpar garbage, right? And you're becoming like Africa. You think you're not, you're heading there.
Now, having never been to Africa, I can't say that's true or not true. I know Tyler has spent some time in Africa. He spent 2 years in South Africa, which this is where I'm assuming this cat is, okay? Could be wrong. Maybe he's in another part. But I've seen great success stories come out of Africa. You could be one of them. You are your own worst enemy when it comes to that. If you want to believe that your culture and your location is what's holding you back, there are things you can do to change that. You can be a better example for one. You can, be the shining light in a blanket of black. Okay, you can do what many other Africans have done. As I said, I've worked with them just recently. If you can, uproot and leave if it really is that bad. There are other opportunities elsewhere in the world. It doesn't have to be here, but there are other opportunities in the world if it is really that bad. So it's up to you to sort of tie up those bootstraps and get moving and make your life better. It's just not going to be dropped upon you. If you want to blame government and blame your nation for that, or blame the culture, that is a defeatist attitude. You've already lost. You're correct.
You're already like following some socialistic garbage already with your food stamps and relying on the state ever since, the so-called sickness. Guys, you're running out of time. You need to bring hope to yourselves, to one another, to all humans. The same way Superman, in a way, brought hope to the little boys during the World War. Yes, it was a form of propaganda, but the principles were objectively true. Truth and justice. Truth and justice. Where do they come from? Where do they come from, Mr. Westerner? Are you too afraid to talk about it, you little weenies? Come on now, I have to speak this way. I have to say things the way I say it. Because if I said it like a gummy bear, you wouldn't listen. I have to make you angry. Because otherwise, you wouldn't care. All of you, not all of you, but many of you are producing sugar content, cheesecake content. There's no salt, there's no seasoning of anyone's soul. Just endless sugar, giving them spiritual what's that word? Diabetes.
That's incorrect. I can tell you never read one of my books, because if you had, you wouldn't be saying such things. Now, I understand that you're not just talking about me directly, but people in general. The fact of the matter is I have read a lot of D&D comic books that come out of quote unquote the West, as you would put it. Some of them aren't, in my opinion, all that great. Some of them really are all that great. Some of them are better than the things I am seeing from Marvel and DC that are just sort of flying under the radar as of now. But the fact of the matter is the more that Marvel and DC fail, the more people are going to start looking towards us. And we are more than happy to take that ball and run with it. You think everything you see is cheesecake. That's your prerogative to think that, but that just maybe indicates more or less of what you're searching, as opposed to what's really going on. I mean, when we look at the videos you're watching here, dating in Japan, that's a pretty high hope for you, bud. And Street Fighter 6 tournaments, I guarantee you, I would wreck you in a game of Street Fighter with Chun-Li, not a problem. So, but that's neither here or there. It's just kind of funny to see what you got up on cue there. My point is, though, you are talking like an authority in which you are not. You're welcome to give your opinion, just like I'm welcome to respond and give my opinion. I find it kind of fun to debate this way. I kind of find it fun to, stop and pause and make comments, especially on things that I feel are noteworthy or relevant. You say I'm a coward, that I won't call you. No, I'm not calling Africa, okay? But you're more than welcome to come on the show and debate us. I just think it will make you look bad. It's not something I would advise. But if you are around later tonight, then you can pipe up in my chat and we will throw you a link.
Y'all are infected with spiritual diabetes, bro. Right? I want to quickly read a comment somebody sent over here. And not my words, but his words. So check what this guy said, right? Okay, this was a comment I got from a friend who watched Nyobi's video. So he says, the video was actually hilarious, bro. Not gonna lie, it's amazing how even in the comic industry, there are so many worldviews. Unfortunately, if Tyler was indeed successful with that level of subpar content, it means that Westerners will never strive to achieve the Japanese level of manga standards. Now that we know that Tyler has created his own...
let's stop there, because he keeps talking about the Japanese level manga standards, and what he's really saying is if they're not working themselves to death, then they're not meeting a particular standard that they feel that we should be meeting. And the fact of the matter is I don't think Tyler's work is subpar. I think Tyler's work definitely speaks for itself, and the fans enjoy it. Had I been a little bit more prepared for this video, I would be actually showing you the books that I received from Tyler Carpenter. And once I read them, I'll definitely give a better opinion. But from what I can see, they look just fine to me.
Standard, right? It's okay. But when anyone says Tyler or somebody else is subpar, we are basing that on the Japanese level, right? Because no one's going to get the full trinity just yet. I haven't seen any Westerner create the full trinity, achieve the full trinity of the manga standard. Not yet, right? It continues to say, that is the fundamental difference between the East and West in their approach towards manga. The Japanese are not complacent. They are never satisfied with the bare minimum. Westerners who tackle manga never go beyond the surface level. As a result, their artwork ends up looking stylized or a poor imitation. That response video was actually very insightful. As a matter of fact, the video confirmed your analysis about zombie consumers who will eat anything regardless of the quality.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. What the video confirms is that you don't need to be crazy like the Japanese. It's not just manga what the Japanese work and take that seriously. It's everything that they do. If you're a corporate exec in Japan and you fail, you just might be on a trip to Suicide Forest. And they have a different culture, and a different system of honor and a different system of what is acceptable, to be quote unquote Japanese. Okay, this guy doesn't seem to understand that. He just thinks it applies to manga. The fact of the matter is that people work very hard here as well. Whether you consider them working hard, is your opinion. It's not correct, but it is your opinion. You want to compare our culture to the Japanese culture? Yeah, no, it's two different things. In fact, I don't even think, like I said before, calling yourself a manga artist, unless if you're Japanese, is very correct. In fact, I think it's insulting to the Japanese to do so. I think you can say I'm an artist with manga influence, but I think the word manga, and the people that make manga would feel very prideful if a bunch of Westerners were to start calling themselves manga artists.
Zombies feed into the artist's desires and prevent him from striving to unlock his ultimate potential. In the US, it truly seems that you can work hard enough to make money even if your art is not up to standard. I guess they would consider it a good thing. The US is still a land of opportunities and few freedoms. It's frustrating that you can't get any of that while living in Africa, but that video was really eye-opening. See, not my words, but the words of somebody else. Nyobicomics, you confirmed everything, bro. Everything that I talk about. You confirmed the fact that y'all don't understand. You don't get the point of the things I say. You just want to deal with the semantics, right? Because you can't really argue against the main point. If you want to be as influential, which you need to be really to make a real difference in people's lives, if you want to be that influential, then you're going to have to pursue that Japanese level aesthetic, bro.
No, you don't have to pursue that Japanese level of aesthetic. I'm more successful than you are, my friend. Okay, and I don't pursue that at all. Now, granted, I do a different line of business than you do. You're trying to copy and emulate and be an impersonator of Japanese products, which I consider offensive to them. I make American comics, okay, Canadian, I'm in Canada, Canadian comics, if you will. My standards are my own. I don't sit there and compare my work to Jim Lee or J. Scott Campbell or any of my other heroes, because I know that their styles are just, on a level that is higher than anything we're doing right now. And that's okay. They're professionals. Not only are they professionals, they're the top professionals. And in every industry, there's only so many top-level professionals, whether it be in sports, in wrestling, in music, in movies, what have you. Okay, there's only so many top spots on the card, and not everyone's going to get there, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you still can't create. That doesn't mean you still can't make money. That doesn't mean that you still can't have a good time doing this. But only you would think otherwise.
It's that simple. Fine, it's my opinion. So be it. But it's true. Because many people are buying books created in Japan because there's a particular standard. I have now analyzed the standard and I've told you, but if you want to continue to say, screw that, I want to make my own standard, then you continue the demoralization. You continue it. You turn yourself into Africa. You ruin your own standards. This place has no standards. Why do you think Africa is the way it is? Because it has no standards. The people themselves are to blame for doing their stupidity and stupid rituals and all that. All these things have an effect. And all of you can still laugh and say, that's not true, that's not real. You don't even live here. I live here. You don't even know, right? You guys are making yourselves less than what you can become. And if that's what you really want, so be it. But for those who truly want to inspire people, take people out of the darkness, shine the light, resist the darkness, then they are those who are going to put their heart and soul in achieving this Japanese aesthetic. Because you want the consumers of this media to read your book, right? Then it's got to look, and it's got to look like that stuff coming from this media. At least it's got to look like it, bare minimum, in terms of the style. It's got to look like it. Because the people buying Viz Media content, they too are becoming slowly demoralized, because what is Japan dishing out today? Demonic stuff that you need to summon a demon to overcome your problems. And what are you Americans doing? You're creating stories about cheesecake stuff, fun, sugar, blah, blah, blah. It's all about the fun, bro. You can't have fun forever. You can't remain a 10-year-old boy forever. Mr. Grown Man but has Powerpuff Girls on his video.
Sure, I can. You're only as young as you feel. I'm 48 years old. I don't feel like I'm 48. Well, maybe sometimes when I wake up in the morning I do. But ultimately, I still, look at myself. Maybe I'm, like I'm in my 30s, and that's just, I was born with a baby face. It's starting to go away now, but that's just how it is. You're trying to put age as some sort of standard. It's not.
There's got to be a difference, man. You're not a child anymore. Where's the difference, man, baby? Right? This makes me upset. It makes me upset because you have the chance to do better. But no, you choose to be a sissy boy. You choose to be a little weasel. You choose to be a man baby. Nyobicomics, your friend Tyler.
Man baby, I'm not the one who's crying here. I'm pointing out your flaws. You're the one who's Jesus Christ.
He was man enough to hunt me down. And I respected you for that. I told him, bro, salute. That's what soldiers do. You hunted me down, respect. Respect. But you acted like a fangirl to defend Tyler's honor. He did not need you to defend his honor. He defended himself. And you will hear his position when he posts that phone call on Monday.
Sure, I'll hear the podcast when he posts it. But Tyler has also watched my video. He also sent me the link to this video because I was unaware that this video had existed. I woke up to a Facebook message with a link from Tyler. And I'll tell you something. Having talked to Tyler, he pretty much agrees with what I said. So, I mean, it's amazing how a different point of view can actually change someone's mind too. So you might want to be aware of that.
So, and hey, yeah, I can't call you whatever I want, Nyobi, because it's true. It's true. I can't call you a sissy because you removed my comment. You claimed I removed your comment and I didn't. I said post it again, right? And you didn't. And I could call you a sissy yet more.
No, I did post it again. And for whatever reason, YouTube didn't show it to you. That's just the truth.
Because of the Powerpuff Girls thing. I could. And I wouldn't be wrong. Because even if I were to remove the fact that you have Powerpuff Girls over here, your behavior, acting like a fangirl, deleting my comment, shows that you are a sissy. Don't ever think that anybody can get the upper hand on me, right? Because at the end of the day, I have nothing to gain. I have nothing to gain and I have nothing to lose. I'm in Africa, bro. I'm screwed. I'm on a ticking time bomb. And so I must yell as much as I can for those who are there who see the insanity, to give them the courage to resist, to give them the...
That's the one thing you said all night that I believed actually to be true, is that you are indeed a ticking time bomb. You need to relax, bro. You need to stop interfering in other people's businesses. You need to stop trying to apply your preconceived standards onto everyone else. Focus on you and you only. Stay in your own lane.
Courage to do better. Unlike you, who wants to sing a lullaby song of compliments and no, bro, it's okay. Take a nap. Just draw 2 pages a week. You can draw 4 pages a month. Shh, it's okay. No, none of that. I am this way because my environment forced me to be this way. I could have been an alcoholic or a drug addict or a criminal. But no, I resisted the darkness because there's a light that has been given to me, right? And you know this light and you know who this light is. But you're not going to say his name, are you? You're too afraid to say his name. Huh? But he helped you build your nation. You're too afraid to say his name. It's rather pathetic, man.
His name as in like God? No, I'm not scared to say his name. I was born in a Roman Catholic family. Went to church up until about the time I was a teenager. Did catechism. All the stuff that's expected of you when you're growing up in a family like that during the 70s and 80s. My grandmother, would hold on to the rosary like it was life and death. I probably understand Christian religion more than you do.
Seriously. But anyway, continue living your demoralized ways if you want to end up like Africa. But for those who understand my message on this channel, you will agree and say, I get the point, man. We can't let these freaks overcome us, right? We can't let these freaks demoralize the public. You have a gift to tell stories, don't you? A gift to illustrate, don't you? Take it to the ultimate standard, which is the Japanese, and tell meaningful, hopeful stories. Enough with the cheesecake. Fun alone can't make a difference in anyone's life. There must be commitment, there must be sacrifice, and that's what makes a difference. No more sissy boy stuff. No more cheesecake stuff. Time to man up sit down and turn into Africa. My time is short, and I've accepted my fate. I'm not jealous. I don't want your money. I don't even want your subscriptions. I didn't ask for it. I'm just screaming here, telling you, do better. Because
Good, because you're not getting them.
I'm trying to do better. Stuck in the jungle, but I came as far as I came. If I left the jungle, I would have been as good as Wannbe Manga, or even better, right? But because of the environment, there are delays in my progress. But there are no delays for you, but you delay yourself. Man up, man. Come on. That's it for now.
Well, thank God that's it, because I don't know how much more of that I can actually handle listening to. He's just wrong on so many different levels. He's trying to say that everyone needs to work to death like the Japanese in order to be great, and for him to accept your work on par with the work that he's reading from Viz Media. He's just, it's such a narrow-minded view of being a creator that it honestly shocks me that someone would say that, and then having a look at their work, and what I see from their work isn't up to the quality standards that he even speaks of himself. So, hypocrite, yes. Jealous, yes. Crybaby, not me, more you. But that's okay. Well, we'll see how much of a man he is if he catches the live show later tonight and wants to come on. We'll gladly debate you on this. No problem. Let me know what you guys think, though. I will say subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, hit the bell icon, all the good stuff, This is the best way to get discourse going. This is the best way to have that conversation. If it's even worthy of having, I don't know. But also, I would say look for Niobe Penguina coming to Kickstarter next month. If you're a backer of Outbreak 2, those books are on the way. They'll be in the mail soon. And check out Whatnot every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, where we go on there and sell comics live to you, the viewer. We will see you soon.